In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at some of the different ways we can import data into software. We're also going to take a look at some of the common issues you may encounter and how to go about managing them and solving them in the software. In short, there's 3 different ways you can bring data into a software, one of which is to open a new file, which will automatically create a job space at the same time. Second is to import any new vectors into an existing file that's already been created. And third is to just drag and drop any vectors into an existing workspace. So first of all, let's go ahead and open an existing file. So if we just go over to File Operations and click on Open an Existing File. And as you can see here, I've got the imported vectors demo. But before we go ahead and open that, I just want to bring your attention to the bottom right corner here so we can talk about some of the different file types that you may see. First, there is the .crv file, which is your typical vcarve file. Then you can see your .crvt file, which is your Vectric template files. You may also see .crv3d files here for any Aspire users, as they will contain 3D content. We have DXF and DWG files, which are typically from engineering packages. We have EPS and AI files, which are typically from graphics-based packages. We have PDF files. And finally, we have SVG files, which are scalable vector graphics, which is a XML-based vector image format for 2-dimensional graphics. It's also important to note that SVG, DXF, and DWG will contain layer information. So if we import a PDF, for example, that has multiple pages, those pages will be respected, and each of those pages will come as a separate layer into the software. Okay, so let's go ahead and import our vectors. So if we just go ahead and click on the Imported Vectors demo, and we don't want to save any changes to this current file, so I'm just going to go ahead and click No. Okay, so let's look at our job setup sheet here, but for the moment I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you can see where the XY datum for the 00 is currently set. So you can currently see these 2 grey lines over here, and what's actually happening here is that the job space is not in the 00 position here. And you'll notice over here we have an offset, which is called use offset, and in X it's 0.618 and in Y it's 2.138. Now what's actually happening here is that the software has respected the offset location when the file was imported. So this file was originally exported from CAM software with an offset set, and the software has respected that. But let's say you didn't want to use that. What you can actually do is go ahead and click this button to turn the offset off, and this will put your XY datum into the bottom left-hand corner, which is represented over here as well. Let's say you actually wanted to put a border around these vectors, because as you can currently see that these vectors are actually meeting the very edges of our workspace here, and perhaps you wanted to work with a bit more space, or if you wanted to cut these shapes out, for example, later, you may need a bit of room to do that. So let's go ahead and look at some of the job dimensions over here. So as you can see, currently the width is about 9.3, so I'm just going to go ahead and change that to 10. And the height is also around 9.3 as well, and I'm also going to change that to 10 as well. And as you can see, the XY datum has actually increased a bit of a border around the vectors, but only on specific slides. It's actually done it in positive X and positive Y from the location of the XY datum in the bottom left-hand corner here. So if you wanted to create a universal border around these vectors, what you could actually do is change the XY datum position to create a universal border around all of the vector sides here. So the way we do that is if you click onto the middle of the XY datum position over here, and I'm just going to increase this value to 12, and increase the height to 12 as well. And as you can see, we've added another inch around the border here. Now we've got a nice, clean, even border around the vectors in this scenario. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and reset our XY datum back to the bottom left-hand corner, and we're just going to click OK. And before we move any further, I just want to go over some of the layer information here. So as you can see at the top here, we have our layer bar. You can also see this on the tab on the left-hand side here under layers. But if we just go ahead and click on the top, you can see the different layers we have from the imported data. So we have layer 0, layer default, and layer red. As you can see, layer 0 has no information on it, and this is represented by a blank sheet next to the 0. As you can see on the default in red though, we have vectors, and these are represented by the small vector drawings on the sheets next to it. The bold text for red and the bold vectors on this layer represent that the red layer is currently the active layer. So if we just go ahead and turn all these off, we can have a look at what the individual layers look like. So if we just turn on default, it just represents the black vectors of the default layer. And if we click on red, this will show you all the vectors on the red layer. So now that we've had a quick look at some of the layer information, let's go ahead and make a new sheet and import some data. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and create a new file and import some data. So if we go over to file operations and click on create a new empty file, we don't want to save any changes in this scenario, so we'll just go ahead and click on no. And we want to keep our width the same at 12 inches, height the same at 12 inches. Not too worried about the thickness at the moment, but we will keep it the same at 0.75. And we want the XY datum to be in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, so now we have a number of options at the top of the file operations. We have the import bitmap function, import vectors, save the file, open an existing file, which is what we did at the start of this tutorial, and create a new file, which is what we just did. So what we're interested in at the moment is to import some vectors. So we're going to go ahead and use the data that we used earlier from the default and red vectors. So we're just going to click the imported vectors demo and click open. An important thing to note here is that the XY datum offset has still been respected. If you recall earlier, we had an XY datum offset that was respected by the software in regards to the original exported data from the CAD software in regards to these vectors, and it has done the same here, where it has kept that offset from the bottom left hand corner datum and has offset these vectors relative to that bottom left hand corner. So let's just go ahead and look at some of the layer information before we move any further. So if we just go ahead and click on the layers up at the top here, you'll notice we still have the same three layers that we had before, the red layer, the default layer, and the layer 0. But we have this brand new layer called layer 1. Now layer 1 is actually naturally created to host all of our 2D data, but as you can see right now it has no data currently on it, and neither does layer 0. So we can actually get rid of these. We don't actually need these right now. So if you just go ahead and click on layer 1 and right click it and then delete this, and we'll do the same for layer 0. So we'll just right click, delete this, and now we're left with just the information that we need in this scenario, which is the default vectors and the red vectors and their relative layers. So we're going to look at actually importing some new data on top of this. So we're just going to go ahead and use the import vectors again. So we go to the top and import vectors under file operations, and this time we're going to use the imported vectors demo 2 file. So we'll just go ahead and open that. Okay, now it may seem like nothing's actually happened here, but the vector has been imported, but it is relative to our XY datum 00. So again, what's happened here is that the vector has been imported, but is actually off the worksheet because the software has again respected the original exported position of the vector when it was exported from its original package. And the way we can see this is if we go up to the very top of the software, and if we click this button here, zoom active view to drawing limits. So if we just go ahead and click that, you'll now see the snow white vector at the very top right hand corner here, where the original package had saved its position. So if we just go ahead and select those vectors, and we want to put them onto the middle of our worksheet. Now we can do this by either hitting F9 on the keyboard, but we can also go over to the transform objects section of our software in the drawing tab and go to align selected objects, and we want to actually align this to our materials. In this case, this represents our worksheet, and we want to click this middle button here to align it to our center of our material. So if you go ahead and click that button, you'll now see that the vectors have been put to the center of our worksheet. So let's just close this, and again we go back up to the top and click zoom active view to drawing limits. Okay, now that we have a vector in the middle of our worksheet, we can go ahead and click on it again, and we're just going to hover over the bottom left-hand corner, and we're going to drag this into a more suitable position on our worksheet. So we're just going to put it up at the top right here. That looks great. So let's look at some of the layer information now that we've imported some extra data. So if we go up to our top to our layers tab here, we've got the default layer, which we had before, the red layer, and now we've got layer 0 and layer white. Now importantly, this layer is actually called white, but the software has automatically changed the vector color to black. That's because when the software imports any vectors that are white, it will change them to black automatically, but it still maintains that white naming convention. Also worth noting that if you turn off the active layer for the white layer that we have here, you can see that the text has gone from black to red. In other words, the active layer is not currently being drawn. Therefore, if I copy and paste any vectors and they're being pasted onto the active layer, they will immediately disappear from the screen because the active layer is not being drawn. Also worth noting is that we have our layer 0, which has no information currently on it. And if we did have multiple layers with no information and you wanted an easy way to get rid of those layers, you could actually turn off the layers with data on them, right click on the layers that have no data on them and making sure that they're visible by clicking the light bulb next to them, and you can just click merge visible. And this way you can merge them all into one layer and then just delete that one layer, which gives you a nice easy way to get rid of some of your unwanted data. So for now I'm just going to turn these layers back on, and we're just going to go have a look at some of the other issues that we may face before machining our vectors. So the way we do this is by going over to a powerful tool called the Vector Validator, which actually sits under the Edit Objects section of the Drawing tab. So we're just going to click the Vector Validator here, and we want to click on Search All because we want to search all these vectors for any potential issues we may have. So let's just go ahead and click on Search All. Now right away I can see that we potentially have an issue here where we've got an overlapping vector. And it looks like it might be happening on the elongated parts of this vector here as well as a whole bunch of intersections where you may have single vectors as opposed to one solid vector. Okay, so now that we're on with that information, let's go ahead and close this form down. And we're just going to go up to Edit, Selection, Select All Duplicate Vectors. Now, as you can see, there's now a purple line around this ring vector here and around these rectangular vectors as well, and that represents our duplicate vectors. So what we can do to see these more clearly is if we right click with these still selected and then go to Move to Layer, and we're just going to go move to a new layer, and we're going to call this one Duplicates. And we want to make this layer active, so we should go ahead and click OK. Now, if I turn off the other layers, you can see very clearly that we have some duplicate vectors. So let's just have a look, and here we can see our duplicate vectors. And just to give you the comparison, if we turn back on our other vectors, our files still actually look correct. So this is why a tool such as a Vector Validator is so key, because it can help you find problems that you may not otherwise see very obviously. So for the moment, I'm actually going to turn off the duplicates layer, but I may need to refer to this later, so I'm still going to keep this around. Now, as you recall, we had some intersections over on this red vector here, so we're just going to go back to the Vector Validator and have a look at that again. So we're just going to search all. And as you can see, we've got a bunch of intersections, and that's likely due to us having some single lines. So if I go ahead and click on the outer lines here, you can see that's a single vector. This is a single vector, as is this one on the right and on the bottom. Now, ideally, what we want to do is actually join these up to make them a single vector, because you may have problems, for example, if you were to run a profile pass where it wouldn't go all the way around because it's only running on a single vector. Okay, so let's just go ahead and close this form for the moment, and we want to select all the vectors that we want to join up. So in this case, if I hold Shift on the keyboard and left mouse click on the left-handmost vector, the top, the right, and the bottom, and we're just going to go over to the Edit Objects again, and we're going to go to Join Open Vectors. Now you can see here, notice that it has 4 open vectors. So on our selected vectors, it realizes that we have 4 open vectors. We want to set our tolerance nice and low. And you can see on the section titled vectors after joining, we're going to have 1 closed vector, a no open vector. So just go ahead and click join. And now if we close this form and go back over to this vector, you can see by selecting it that it's now 1 solid vector. Okay, so we managed to deal with most of the problems, but it's always worthwhile looking at refinement of some of our vectors too. So if we come over to our Snow White text over here, if we just zoom in a little bit, if we select the S, and then we're going to hit N on the keyboard for node editing mode, you can see there's quite a lot of jagged edges, but that's by design because it's meant to look like that. So let's have a look at this vector that should be nice and smooth here for the banner. So if we just click on that, you can see there's a lot of points here. And the issue with this is that it may take a much longer time to machine, but also you may not get a smooth finish. So what can we do in this scenario? Well, we can actually go over to the Edit Objects menu again, and we can select the Curve Fit Curves to Selected Vectors. So let's go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, you've got a number of options here. You've got circular arcs, Bezier curves, straight lines, and you've got tolerance. So I'm actually going to keep that at 0.001. And I do want to keep the sharp corners for the sharp corners of the banner just here. And if we just go ahead and choose Bezier curves, I don't want circular arcs in this scenario, and I don't want straight lines because of the sweeping nature of this banner. And so if I just reselect that, and if I just go ahead and click preview, you'll now see that this has dramatically reduced the amount of points we have on this banner. And I'm happy with what I see, so I'm just going to click Replace Selected Vectors, and I'm just going to hit OK. And now that has replaced the original vector with the many points. And if we just highlight this vector again by clicking it with the left mouse click and hit N on the keyboard, this will go to node editing mode, and you can see it's dramatically reduced the amount of points on this vector, which should lead to a lot smoother machining and a better finish. Okay, so that draws to a conclusion this presentation where we took a look at the different ways we can import data into Vectric software, how we can approach moving around vectors and data that we import into the software, and taking a look at some of the issues we may encounter when working with imported data into the software and how we can get around some of those issues so we can machine effectively. I hope you have found this helpful, and we look forward to seeing you next time.